and I'm going to go to the grand narrative having never played this army. That's the other thing that I'm going to be like I'll figure it out when I get there. But
you'll be
never
fine.
played this army.
What's the worst that could happen?
I haven't played a shooting army in like 5 years. Yeah, well, it'll be fun. It'll be fun.
To be fair, a lot of people are playing World Eaters as a shooting army. So what's your excuse?
Well, yeah, I wasn't doing that. I was decidedly not doing that.
Welcome to Preferred Enemies, the Warhammer 40k podcast. There's a lot of catching up to do. I'm your host, Rob.
And Kevin.
You may notice there's only two of us here today. And actually, we have a fair number of announcements. This is pretty much a catch-up episode since last two episodes of, I think, what were Drukari and the character encyclopedia. So we're catching up on a lot of news and things that have changed in the game. But we actually have a change coming for us. But before I get to that, I do want to address why our two co-hosts are not here. Richard is not here because he moved like a week or two ago, and he is still like his family moved to a new house, and they are still in the process of packing and unpacking. And so he's had to, and work is also getting really crazy right now for him. So he's had very little time to do that. So he actually specifically requested if he could have some more time to do packing and unpacking today. So that is why he is not here. I imagine he'll be back probably in an episode, hopefully. Yeah. Dennis is not here because he had a death in the family. His younger brother, who I have known for years, back to our college days together. His younger brother passed this week, just a couple of days ago, in fact, from a battle with esophageal cancer. And there's a lot going on with that. And Dennis is kind of taking the lead on dealing with a lot of the ins and outs and legalities and things like that. And so he's taking time to take care of that. So our thoughts are with him while he's having to work through a very difficult situation. And I do want to say, when we announced this on our Patreon Discord, everybody just poured out support for him. So we've got a good group of people over there. So yeah, if you want to put Dennis in your thoughts, we'd really appreciate that. I'm sure he could appreciate just the feeling of support. He's going through a lot right now. So we're giving him some time off. His seat is available as soon as he's ready to come back. So he is temporarily gone, but hopefully he will be able to still go to the grand narrative next month.
Hopefully.
So that remains to be seen, but it seems like he is hoping to be able to do that, and I think it would do him some good after everything. So that is the bad news. That is why we are down two hosts right now. The good news is we have a big announcement. And that is that starting very soon, we have signed the contract. I think we're waiting for a few things to be finalized, but we are joining a network, which came out of kind of nowhere. And as podcasters, and obviously our podcast is on various feeds and podcatchers and things like that. And we get a lot of, I know I get a lot of email, most of which goes straight to my spam folder of automated. We would like to improve your Preferred Enemies, the Warhammer 40k podcast, or a Warhammer 40k podcast. It's very obviously like mail fill, type thing. So we ignore most of them, but we got contacted by an email, and I won't go into the whole story why it caught my eye, but it led to an interesting exchange, and one thing led to another, and some discussions were had, and we conferred among ourselves, and so we've signed off on it. We are joining the Pickaxe Network. Now, if you have not heard of the Pickaxe Network, it is a primarily tabletop gaming related, although I think there is some computer gaming mixed in as well, but it's primarily a gaming podcast network that is started by the people that run the Yogscast, which is a gaming podcast based out of the UK that has been going for years now. And so they contacted us and said, basically, we are looking to add to our tabletop wargaming channels because we don't really have much of any. So we had these conversations with them, and everything seems to be good for us, and we can help them out by increasing the amount of things that they cover. And so along with this, so a couple things very clear. The nature of the show is not going to change. We still own the show. We still own all the content. We are going to be doing the same kind of thing we've always done. Like, that does not change. Who we are, what kind of stuff we talk about, we have full control over that. That does not change. The one change you will notice is that we are going to be ad supported, and beyond, like, the sponsorships we've had in the past, full disclosure, have not been really financial in nature. They've been, hey, we will promote you, and in exchange we get like a percentage off when we buy stuff from them. That's it. We have not gotten paid by like KR Multicase or Game Mat or anything. Like, there's no money. If there's money changing hands, it's us paying them to buy stuff.
We're bad at negotiating.
We are. I think we did okay this time.
No, we did. Yeah.
But there will be ads. There will be ads at the beginning of the show. There will be ads in the middle of the show where we do our normal ad break, and there will be ads at the end. If you don't like ads, we are going to have access to an exclusive ad-free feed for our patrons. We'll be able, like, I meant, like, said, hey, is that a thing we can do? And they said, absolutely, we'll provide you with an ad-free feed. So if you don't like ads, but you still want to help support the show, again, our Patreon, you've heard the spiel if you've listened to the show any number of times. It's basically an online tip jar. Patreon.com/preferred enemies. $1 a month gets you access, and that would get you access to an ad-free version of the show. But beyond that, this is also an opportunity. Obviously, it's a chance to monetize the show, and I know monetize is kind of a weird, ugly word, but it's a chance to do a capitalism a little bit. But more importantly, we are not, like, this is a side hustle for us. This is not our main jobs. I don't necessarily want this to be my main job.
Yeah.
But if we're ad supported, we do get revenue from that. And one of the things there are two things I specifically want to do with that revenue. One is build our travel fund back up so we can offset the costs of doing things like sending you and Dennis, Kevin, to the Grand Narrative, or maybe starting to go back to events that we used to, like being able to go up to Minnesota for Renegade Open, or being able to go out to, was it Milwaukee is where Adepticon is now?
Yes.
I believe.
Yeah.
That's
so it's
the
one that I want to do now. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like there's a number of events we have not gone to, or we've gone to sporadically, that we would like to be able to go to again. And obviously, cost of living things have gone up, but being able to bring in some ad revenue will allow us to do that. The other thing I want to be able to roll money into is merchandise, like merchandise designs, cool designs. I want to be able to pay artists to help us design stuff. I want to be able to put in the costs to like order sets of dice that we can, sell to, like, offer to patrons and things like that. So I want to be able to offset the costs of that stuff to help rep the show. And this will also, being part of a network, it gives us an opportunity to cross promote. They'll run ads for us on their network. We can run ads for shows on our network. We also do have some control over what ads we show, so we can definitely try to tailor it towards things that we think our audience would be cool with. And really, this is also just a chance to get the show out in front of a lot of people, a lot more people.
Yeah.
And
well, and to that point of, like, sharing the show a little bit more, just as a peek behind the curtains, if you have seen a Facebook, Twitter, Blue Sky, Instagram website post about the podcast, it has been either myself or Rob, and mostly Rob. Like, it is like the two of us doing, like, all of our social media, which is why sometimes episodes don't get posted on all the platforms, or stuff happens. Like, we don't have a subreddit. We don't post in these like, we post where we're at, but it's just two people. So this gives us a wider reach. This will expose us to other shows and other places and other areas that we don't normally get to, which is good because that helps grow the podcast, helps grow the hobby, just helps everything. So yeah, this is going to be really beneficial, I think, for everybody.
Yeah. And I also want to say, like, I did some due diligence and looked into Pickaxe and Yogscast, and I do want to say the Yogscast is a channel that has done something we've always tried to do, and that is to use our gaming powers for awesome. Yeah. They've had what they call the Yogscast Jingle Jam every Christmas for, like, the last decade. Last year, they raised $3.3 million for charity by doing a
Yeah.
live stream. And that was going to groups like the Trevor Project, Autistica, Calm, which is a mental health group, War Child, Whale and Dolphin Conservation. It's like they've put stuff towards the Red Cross, like Special Olympics, just there's a lot of groups they put to, all of which are things that like we are totally in support of. They've raised money to help with Ukraine in the past, so it's like they have definitely put like their money where their mouth is and help support that. And so like being a part of something attached to that organization is something I'm absolutely for. So
Absolutely.
this is, we just see this as a really good opportunity to continue doing what we're doing, but doing it with the help of a group that can really get the word out there. And we've been doing this for 14 years. Next year we turn 15. We've been doing this for 14 years. And I got to say it's very cool to be noticed by an organization who's like, yeah, we think you'd be a good fit. We've listened to you and we want to help you be more successful. So we're really excited about it. At first we were kind of like, okay, so what do they want? But the more we talked with them, the more details we got, we're like, no, this is totally something we want to be on board with. So pardon the dust in over the next couple of weeks. There will be a switch over to a slightly different feed. We're going to incorporate all our episodes into their network, and then moving forward, episodes will have ads. It depends on when the exact data switchover is going to happen, but it is going to be probably within the next week or two as of this episode dropping. So just watch this space, and we'll make sure to communicate on social media, like what's going on. If anybody has any issues, feel free to reach out to us. We'll see what we can do to like iron out any wrinkles. But yeah, same show, same content, same hosts, just wider reach and part of a bigger group.
Yep, for sure.
So now that we have all our housekeeping business taken care of, let's move on to some of the stuff that has happened in the last month since we've been talking about other products and other topics. And I think the first thing that got a lot of people's attention was the Battleforce boxes. The holiday boxes have been announced. They are not out yet, but we have the listings for, I think, all 7 of them?
Yeah, because there was
7, yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot this year.
Yeah.
Very in quality.
Yeah, and they're for a variety of armies, and some of them, a couple of them surprised me with what they included. We're just going to go ahead and take it from the top. And there's an article on Warhammer Community from October 6th. First off, the Blissbound Warband, which is an Emperor's Children warband. And this reminds me of the other god-specific Chaos Legion boxes, which have always included the Demon Primarch. So this one includes Fulgrim. No big surprise. What did surprise me is that this is only 12 models.
Yeah, it's Emperor's Children in a very weird, like, elite space, but like elite with like few units. It's very... to me, this underscores the limitations of that army currently. Because when they did the World Leaders one last year, it was Angron, it was 8-Bound, it was some Berserkers. Like, you felt like there were more things just because you had more models. With having the Noise Marines, on units 3, and the Flawless Blades
Noise Marines are in
unit 3,
Noise Marines?
Like, okay, that's cool. But
Noise Marines are units of 6, I believe.
Oh, unit of 6. Oh, yeah. Okay. Sorry. So it's unit of 6. And it's like, okay. I guess it's, you just have these like small looking units. And then, the fact that they don't have a lot of other units, I would have almost preferred them to put like a unit of Tormentors or something, or if they had Cultists, put like a unit of Cultists in here just to like pad out the model count a little bit. But
still not the smallest model count in among these that we're going to be talking about, though.
For sure. No, on its surface, this one isn't bad. If you were brand new to Emperor's Children, and a lot of people still are, this is a great place to start. You buy this, you buy the Combat Patrol, you have most of the units in the army, and you have a really good start for this force. If you already have Fulgrim, it's a little, it's the problem with all of the ones that have like the unique models in them. If you already have it, it really diminishes the value.
Yeah, and it's
So,
not something he's not something you can double up on, you know. It's
yeah.
like
Yeah.
I will say this and the combat patrol are a perfect combo because the combat
100%.
patrol has the Lord Exultant. It also has 6 flawless blades, but you can run 2 units of 6. They're actually better in units of 6, so that's great. And that one also has a unit of 10 tormentors or infractors. You probably want to run in as 2 groups of 5. And then a group of noise marines in here and Fulgrim. Yeah, that's a pretty solid army list. You know, to start out, you can easily squeeze, even if you take Fulgrim out of the equation, you've got a 1,000-point list there, most likely, between the two of them, or close to it. Yeah, so it's not a bad starting point. Yeah, like you said, if you are going in cold, if you are going in brand new, or if you only have the combat patrol, this is a great add-on for that. So, and I do like, they did this, I think, last year as well, where the battle forces did a pretty good job of not overlapping with the combat patrols.
Yeah. And I think they've done a good job of that again this year.
Yeah. This one comes in at 705 points, which is not a bad start. I would really like it if there was one more thing in here, but yeah, as it is, it's not bad, but 13 models kind of feels bad, you know? So it's like, but it's not going to feel as bad as as a couple of the others. So,
oh boy.
Yeah, we'll get there. Next up, and I'm just going to go in the order of the article here. The Chthonian Prospect, which is a Leagues of Votann battle force. And as you put in your notes, Kevin, this one is Oops, All Berserks.
This is where all of the berserks that you couldn't buy on the shelves went.
Yep.
Again, if you were interested in playing berserks, this is a great, add-on. You get a unit of berserks, unit of Thunderkin, the new transport.
The
Capricus. I was like, what the hell's the name of it? Yeah, I've painted 2 of these in the last week, so I should know what they are. You get a Capricus there, and then you get 2 of the mole mortars and the Tech Marine. I forget what they actually call them.
The Broker Iron.
Yeah, Broker
Iron Master.
Iron Iron Master. Yeah. So like, good variety. Like it is, again, minimal overlap with the combat patrol. If you're wanting to do like a berserk themed or Chthonian themed army, like, this is one that you could easily pick 2 of, and double up and, have a lot of options.
Yeah.
This is another one that pairs really well with the combat patrol, because the combat patrol is a unit of the Hearthguard and a unit of just the regular troops. So, there's not really any overlap. You can get extra Thunderkin, but can always use extra Thunderkin. So yeah, like, I like this one a lot. This is a really good pairing with the other one, and I think it provides a good value and a good like number of models for the for the price.
The only place where this one comes in weak is at points. It's only 540 points.
Yeah,
because like there's no big centerpiece. Like the closest thing to a centerpiece is the Capricus, which isn't a centerpiece.
No, that's a thing that's kind of interesting with Votann. As I'm frantically painting up my army, they don't really have a lot of like centerpiece things.
Like, the land fortress is the closest thing. Yeah,
the land fortress, but like outside of the land fortress, they don't have any like big name characters that take up a lot of points. They don't have any like big units. Even their things like their artillery like are pretty affordable. So you wind up having, a lot of models. But in some ways, like for me, and maybe this is just my, my weird brain way it thinks, this box feels like a much better value than the Emperor's Children box, because you get more models. So, I know that's not really the case because you're getting like less stuff for your army, but I don't know. This feels like a better deal, like a better box.
Well, and even with more models, it's also more units. At most, you can split the Emperor's Children one into 4 if you run 2 groups of 3 flawless blades. This one, you've got the Earthshakers, which come in sets of 2. You've got a Capricus, you have the Iron Master, you have the Broker Thunderkin, and then you have 10 Chthonians, which you can run at, like 10 Berserks, which you can run as 2 groups of 5. So you're already at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 5 minimum, 6 maximum. So it feels like you get a bigger chunk of your army, even though it's fewer points. Still feels like you're getting more stuff. and you're physically getting more stuff, even if there's not that one big thing. Speaking of big things, we have the Crusher Stampede for the Tyranids, which is the smallest model count of all of these. Technically 7 models, but 2 of those are just tokens, technically. So five models, 5 units, 5 kits. They are all big monsters. So you start off with a Neurotyrant. You've got the Screamer Killer. Now, Screamer Killer was exclusive to the Leviathan box. I don't know if it's ever been released by itself.
I don't think so.
Yeah, a Tyrannifex, a Haruspex, and a Maliceptor. And they do point out, like, the Maliceptor can be a Toxicrene, the Haruspex can be an Exocrine, the Tyrannifex can be a Tervigon. So you have 3 of these 5 kits can be built in alternate modes. So this is also not a bad one to double up on if you want to do a Crusher Stampede Monster Mash kind of set.
Yeah, 5 models is shocking. Like like look at it, I'm like, that's crazy. But at the same time, this also fits Tyranids incredibly well. You know, their big monster like mash list is a type of way to play. This supports that. It doesn't overlap with the Combat Patrol. This is one that you could easily double up on if you want to go full monster mash. You can do, like, it is a good value. Sticker shock of only 5 models is a little bit crazy, but you're getting a lot of things here. So this one isn't the most egregious.
Right. And yeah, this comes in at 750 points. That's based on the most expensive version of this, based on what units you can take in it.
Yeah.
But if you go ahead and, like, you could double this up and get to close to 1,500 points, add in the Combat Patrol, you can get around 1,000 point army of Crusher Stampede. It won't necessarily be the most well-rounded thing, but that maybe you build one of the Tyrannifexes as a Tervigon and buy a box or 2 of Termagants. You've actually, you've got a decent list here with some heavy hitters. It does feel weird buying only 5 models, but looking at some of the breakdowns that people have done on price, this box, it comes in at $361 if you bought all the pieces separately, with the Screamer Killer sold with the Neurotyrant, because those were both from the Leviathan box. So and supposedly the guess on the price point for these right now, last year they were $240. They're expected to be around $250. If they are $250, even if they're around $260, that's still going to be $100 savings or more. So it's not bad. It feels weird, but you are getting 5 big chunky things. Yeah. So, and it's still more units than the Emperor's Children box at 5.
Yeah.
With more flexibility. So, all right. Moving on, the Farsight Cadre.
Whew.
Another one with a surprisingly low model count, and I'm not going to count the drones because the game doesn't either.
Yeah. GW decided not to count drones, so we're not counting them either.
Yeah, we're not going to count them. Like, you don't have to build them, so I'm not going to count them. So 6 models, and from 4 kit. This makes 4 units this isn't an at best. This makes 4 units. Now you have a lot of flexibility on which units you build with the crisis suits, because you can build them in one of 3 ways game wise, and assuming you're not using the Legends version of crisis battle suits. But you get a broadside, a unit of crisis suits, a Riptide, and Commander Farsight. Again, one you cannot double up on because of the named character, or there's not a good reason to double up on it, which is a shame, because Farsight is Farsight's a really cool model, but he does have a very unique suit, and he's the only guy with a sword, so kind of hard to, and he's not really reposable. He is as he is, so it's hard to convert him to anything else. When I first saw this one, I was like, oh, it's what's left of the 8 after 2 of the characters died. Yeah, and it's basically, that's what it plays out as. It's a low point count, 475 points. This is fewer points than a Combat Patrol in many cases.
And just the way that Tau works, like the way the army functions, you can't use this as the core of an army the same way you can with, like, the Crusher Stampede, because you need a ton of support to make this work. So you still need to buy other things. You still need to buy Pathfinders. You still need to buy, Fire Warriors. You still need to so it's like, I like it in that, yeah, it's like kind of lore accurate and it's the remainder of the 8 and things like that. But I don't know. I would have taken Farsight out of this and I would have put another unit of Crisis Suits or, a unit of Pathfinders, a unit of Stealth Suits. I mean, granted, I know the new ones aren't out yet, but I feel this would have been better with taking Farsight out and putting a commander and a commander and a unit of Crisis Suits would have made this feel better and been closer to the core of what you wanted to build. But as is, I mean, it's good value if you don't have Farsight. So again, same with the Emperor's Children one. If you need the name character, you're getting some free models by buying it this way. But otherwise, it's low value.
Yeah, and this also it pairs okay-ish with the combat patrol. The problem with the problem with the combat patrol is it includes a commander with no crisis suits, so you can't pair him with anybody. And if you buy this and the combat patrol, yeah, it's a decent start to a Tau army, but you're still going to end up a commander extra, whether it's Farsight or whether it's the regular commander, and you're going to want to run a Farsight with the crisis suits. This really could have benefited from one extra set of crisis suits, or the combat patrol could benefit from an extra set of crisis suits. And yeah, also given what Farsight is good at, you are probably going to want to build these as the Fire Knife suits, which is how, and it's funny, they have them, the models that they show, there's a burst cannon flamer, which would be a Star Scythe. There's a double flamer, which would also be a Star Scythe. And then there's a missile pod plasma, which would be a Fire Knife. So the way they have them modeled on the box is not even a legal unit, but they match the loadouts of a couple of the commanders from the 8, which again tells you that this is the 8, which means we need regular crisis suit commanders again as an option. Yeah, this one's an odd one. I can't recommend this one. It's got some cool stuff, but it feels like there should be better ways to get this. And I don't know how well the Retaliation Cadre did from last year, which had a similar thing except without Farsight, and because I think it had a Ghost Keel instead.
Yeah.
And I think there's still one on the shelf at my store, so like it didn't do great. So yeah, this one's an odd one to throw in.
This is the one that I think is going to still be on the stores in a year, shelves in a year.
Yeah, I don't think this one doesn't move much. Next up, we've got the Iron Halo Strike Force, which is not related to the event we used to go to in Oklahoma, but is instead a battle force for the Space Marines. This one's decently well-rounded. It leads more into your elites, which is fine. Yeah. It's a captain, a unit of company heroes, a unit of Stern Guard vets, and it's the new Stern Guard vets, not the push-fit ones from Leviathan, but the standalone box with more options. A unit of 5 Hellblasters, and then the Ballistus Dread, which has only been available in Leviathan in the past. I think it might be available standalone now. And a Redemptor. That's not a bad chunky bit to add to a Space Marine force. And fortunately, unlike the other armies we've talked about, there's a bunch of Space Marine combat patrols.
Right.
And I did include one of the new ones on my list. I forgot to put the Iron Hands one on here because don't like the no one.
GW forgot to make that one good.
Yeah. But this one comes in at 740 points. All of those units in there are beaters. They will all get work done. And as far as the combat patrols that it pairs nicely with, I kind of try to do a ranking on this. There's the Ultramarine one, which is up for pre-order. Like that one is just went up for pre-order, and it's pretty solid. That one has Tigurius in it.
Yeah, Chief Librarian Tigurius, 3 Aggressor Squad, 3 Blade Guard veterans, 5 Reavers, 5 Intercessors, and then the Ultramarine upgrade sprue. So yeah, like good pairing with this. Like kind of fills in some of the areas that this one doesn't cover.
Yeah, that like this one would be a really really good pairing for that. Going into some of the next one, I thought it would be a really good match with would be the Dark Angels one.
Yeah, so the Dark Angels one is
Dark Angels is the Gravis Captain, some Blade Guard veterans, 5 Hellblasters. So now that gets you to 10. That's really solid. 10 Intercessors. And the problem is the Gravis Captain can't join either of those units. So he's still kind of an odd one out, and he wouldn't be able to join anybody here. But I think if you assume that you already have a captain in non-Gravis armor, this pairs really well with that. You'd have a couple more veteran units. You'd have more Hellblasters. You'd have Intercessors to act as just like baseline troops, which the battle force doesn't have. So that one's, I think, is a really good companion. The Blood Angels one is okay. That one is Assault Intercessors and Sanguinary Guard, and then like the Blood Angels Captain. This doesn't overlap with that, but that's fine. That's you kind of want this to fill in other pieces. This would give you a shooty component to combine with your assault, but you also have some company heroes who are no slack in close combat either. So I think that one's a decent fit. Raven Guard, there's no overlap. The Raven Guard one is more stealthy, so gameplay wise, it's not gonna really mesh well, but there's it's not a bad complement. It's just kind of an odd one. The White Scars one wants a far more mobile list than this. That one would pair okay-ish. And then after that, the Space Wolves one does not pair well with this because this does not scream Space Wolves to me. Space Wolves want to run with Space Wolves specific stuff.
Yeah.
See, same with Black Templars. This one's, I guess, maybe okay-ish with Black Templars.
Yeah, I think the Templar one actually pairs pretty well because the stuff that's in the Iron Halo Strike Force is pretty agnostic, and you want the Templar stuff to, like, the Crusader squads to run together, but this does fill in some other areas, like gives you some shooting support, gives you other similar elite, like, infantry. So, like, actually, I think that one pairs pretty well if you want to play Black Templars. If you're not interested in playing Black Templars, yeah, sure, it doesn't do anything for you. But like, yeah. I could see that one being a good fit.
The Iron Hands one does not pair well with anything. It is just a bad
because it's garbage.
Yeah, it is garbage. Although, strangely enough, what it would pair with the best is the Dark Angels Combat Patrol, because then you could put that Gravis Captain in with these heavy Intercessors. It's still not good, but it would actually work. And then the one I had as the worst is the Space Marine, the regular Space Marine Combat Patrol, because that's the one from Leviathan, which is just like it's Terminators and some
the Pyromancers.
The Incinerators and whatever. I can never remember what inward that one is. That's how deeply it isn't burned into my brain.
Again, like I could make an argument that I think it's a better fit than like the Iron Hands or the Space Wolves, because Terminators are just useful. Like, it doesn't, you still would need to take that combat patrol and this box and add in like a bunch of infantry because like you lack the basics. But adding in a 5-man unit of Terminators and like, flame Space Marines.
Infernus Marines is what
Infernus Marines, yeah. Adding them into like the base of the Iron, like that's not bad, but it doesn't, it's very much an eat your dessert before your meal army though. Like you need to go in and add in some units, to kind of fill out the basics. But like I think it could pair pretty well if you're looking to build like an elite army or things like that. But yeah, you're sorely missing some of the basics. You need to get some infantry and some tanks.
Yeah.
So it's not the worst fit, but I could see it working.
Well, I also don't like that combat patrol. It's just
there's also
bad.
that.
It's a bad combat patrol for $170. Like that.
But it's not the worst.
It's not the worst. Would be the Iron Hands one, I think. But
yeah.
So honestly, at 740 points before you pair it with a combat patrol, and there's a couple that are really like, especially that Ultramarines one is just a perfect companion to this. I think that like that's actually a really good place for any Marine player to add to their force, because also this is stuff that like you might not have the Ballistus Dread if you didn't buy Leviathan. You probably don't have the company heroes. You probably don't have Stern Guard. If you did buy Leviathan, hey, this is 5 more Stern Guard. Like this actually does play really well with a lot of Marine forces. So I don't dislike this one. I think this one's good. And again, 1, 2, 3, 4, like 2 dreads, and then 4 other units, so 6 units. So, you feel like you're getting something here that you can actually play with. So I really
Yeah.
do like that.
Yeah.
I think the next one may be even better, and that is the Hellforged Warband for Chaos Space Marines.
Yeah.
Especially since like at least one of the units in here, the Disco Lord, the Lord Discordant, has gotten a major glow up in
For sure.
the last balanced data slate. This one is the Lord Discordant, a Venom Crawler, a pair of Obliterators. They have to be together because they're all on the sprue together. That's just how they are. A unit of Havocs and a unit of Legionaries. So you get like a basic troop, you get a heavy weapon support, you get a demon engine, you get an HQ that can move around with that demon engine. You get a couple of heavy ranged hitters with the Oblits, and you get a Rhino to carry your Legionaries around. There's nothing I don't like. There's nothing I dislike about this. Also, 800 points.
Mm-hmm. This one's great. Like this can be added into any type of chaos army. Like just everything in here operates well with any playstyle you're trying to do. So this is fantastic. I do wish the Oblits and the Venom Crawler were available separately, but that's just, they're still it's still basically the push fit models from, gosh, what set was that?
Shadow Spear. That was
Shadow Spear in
long time, like eighth edition. Yep.
It is criminal that they're still not available in individually, but it's good to see them here. Oblits are great. The Venom Crawler is a good unit. There's a lot of mobility here. Legionnaires and a Rhino, like that's just tough to beat. Like this is a good value. This is a good box.
Yeah, and also pairs excellently with the Combat Patrol, because the Combat Patrol's Master Possession, 5 possessed, another unit of 10 Legionaries, and a unit of Cultists. Like, you pair those together, you could easily build a variety of 1,000-point lists. Like, you can, you buy those two, so you're talking like, let's say 250 for this, 170 for that, so you're talking $420, but you have a 1,000-point plus army. You have options.
Yes.
To build, like you're close to, you're not far off from like a 1,500-point army. So yeah, like point value wise, and I think flexibility wise, as far as how you want to build this, and the Legionaries Legionaries unit has a lot of options on how you want to build them out. Obviously, the Havocs have a variety of weapons loadouts they can take. Strangely, the Disco Lord's the one thing that makes this hard to double up on.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to run 2 Disco Lords necessarily, but I wouldn't necessarily hate having 2 units of because I'm running 2 units of Oblits in my Chaos list right now, so I don't dislike that. It's like this one, if it wasn't for the Disco Lord, I would absolutely double up on this one. Like this one's great. No notes. This one is a good battle force. And again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 units, 5 in a dedicated transport. Even if the Rhino is an ancient kit at this point, still gets work done, and everything else in here is very new, with the oldest ones being the Lord Discordant and the Oblits and Venom Crawler, but that's still only going back to like 8th edition, so you're talking like 6 years old. That's not terrible.
No, that's a good one.
Yeah. And then the final one, I imagine this one might be your favorite right now, is the Krieg Siege Platoon. A Lord Commissar and Command Squad, 20 Death Corps Krieg troops, a unit of combat engineers, and 2 of the big artillery teams, like the siege artillery. That's a thing of beauty right there.
Oh yeah. No, this is you can always use more troops. Engineers are great. Like the heavy artillery pieces are fantastic. They're all brand new kits. They're all like this one's great. This is amazing.
And fortunately, like if there was not a Death Corps Krieg Combat Patrol, I would say this one wouldn't pair well with the Astra Militarum Combat Patrol, because that one doesn't really play with Kriegers. But fortunately, they released a Death Corps Krieg Combat Patrol just recently, and that one gives you another command squad. Which, okay, fine, you can actually run 2 command squads in guard. It's fine.
Yeah.
Another 10 Kriegers, the Krieg heavy weapons team, and the Death Riders. That's a great combo. Like that just fills that out. You're
Yeah.
gonna, the problem with this one, the one thing that hurts on this one the most is the points. 445 points, because Astra Militarum are
Yeah.
so low point, such a low point army. Like, this is
So-
a box you could double up on. You're gonna have to, probably. Although I don't know, you'd end up with an extra siege weapon, I would think.
Yeah, you're going to wind up with some extra stuff. But I think this one is good. The thing that I really like about this, and it kind of plays into the low points in this case, you're getting a lot of models. You're getting a lot of your infantry and your troops out of the way. If you take this, you double up on it, you pair it with the combat patrol, however you want to do it, that gives you 3 units of Kriegers, 2 units of engineers, 2 command squads, different variety of artillery. Then you go and you buy Lehman Russes and you fill this out with tanks. And, you fill it out with the bigger things, and then you have a really good core of a guard army. So I like that it's a way for you to be able to, granted, we don't know the price points yet, but at hopefully a discount or a little bit of a discount, be able to fill in all of the stuff that, as you mentioned with the Space Marine Combat Patrol, that's all the elite stuff, and you'll need to pair it with the basics. This is all the basics. Then you can have fun and go wild with the other 1,000 points of your army and put in a Lehman Russ squad, a frickin' Baneblade if you want, and start putting in other things to really be the heavy hitters to make this army sing. So I really like this one.
So, throwing some points together here, if you bought this Battle Force and the Krieg Combat Patrol, that gets you to 710 points. Still fully legal yet. 2 command squads. You've got 3 Death Corps Krieg units. You've got the engineers. You've got a heavy weapons team. You've got 2 artillery teams, and you've got a unit of Death Riders.
Mm-hmm.
Add Lord Marshal Dreer. He goes nicely with the Death Riders, and that adds 100 points. You're now up to 810. Let's say you want to put a couple of upgrades on your combat squad. You still have the points for it. Let's say you need something that's going to hit like a freight train. Lehman Russ Vanquisher. The Vanquisher cannon is terrifying. So take a Lehman Russ Vanquisher. That's 145 points. You're 955 points. Let's say you run this as the siege detachment, because sure, that makes the most sense. Yeah, you have room for a couple of enhancements, and you that's 1,000 point army right there.
Yeah.
So Battle Force, Combat Patrol, Dreer, and a Lehman Russ kit, and you have 1,000 point army. Fortunately, the tanks can eat up some points. Dreer eats up some points, so that that helps. Yeah, this one, the points are the lowest points are this, and then the Firesight Cadre. But this is the one where there's a very clear path to making this a Krieg army. There is a path to do this, to get this to 1,000 points. And then to get from 1,000 to 2,000, take whatever you need. If you want more infantry, you want some more tanks. There's a lot of stuff you. Hell, throw in a Baneblade and eat up 400 of your points. Boom, done. Yeah, there's things you can do with this to get this to a 2,000 point army. But the fact there's a clear path to this, this one and the Hellforged Warband are the ones where I see the clearest path to easy 1,000 point armies. Iron Halo Strike Force is pretty solid there. The Emperor's Children one is not terrible. It's hamstrung by how few options you have in Emperor's Children.
Yeah. And the risk of putting the big character in there, because the value of that box is Fulgrim, and if you already have Fulgrim, then there's not really a ton of value.
Right. Yeah. And then the weakest ones is definitely the Tau one, and then the Votan's good for getting into Votan. The Crusher Stampede's good if you want to add some Monster Mash to your Tyranids. I wouldn't necessarily start the Votan one. I could see starting with if you're getting into Votan. I don't know about the Tyranid one. The Tau one, that's the biggest loser of all of them. Is absolutely this is not a good one.
Yeah.
And on top of that, there's one other thing that came out that is a Battle Force, but isn't a holiday Battle Force. It went up for pre-order this weekend, and it is no longer available, or it's sold out, temporarily
Yeah.
sold out. So it is not the sold out online. It is out of stock for right now, which means they will have more out. And that is the Crux Terminatus Battle Force. Now, this was a big deal because, hey, it's new Terminators, new Assault Terminators. They are
Yeah.
finally upscaling the Assault Terminators to match the new Terminator set. And so they decided to do a box that was Oops All Terminators. And this Battle Force was also 250, so that's probably a good price point to expect
Yeah.
for the other Battle Forces. It is 10 Assault Terminators, I believe 5 regular Terminators, and then an Ancient, a Captain, and a Chaplain all in Terminator armor. And I think the Assault and the Ancient may be the new, or I believe are the new models in there.
Yes. Yeah. Because the Chaplain is an older model, the Captain's an older model, obviously the Terminators. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, the new Assault Terminators look great. I mean, they fit the aesthetic. They look cool. They appear to have an option to give them Oops All Lightning Claws, which is totally cool, totally fine. Not upset about that at all.
Not upset about that. No,
not mad about that at all. No, honestly, things are great. Things look awesome. Like, and then this, if you were to pick this up, this pairs. This could also be another one that kind of pairs in the same way as we mentioned with the other Battle Force of
the
like
Iron Halo. Yeah, this
you drop this in and yeah.
Well, and this one is also has the benefit of, as opposed to the Combat Patrol, this leans more heavily and clearly into the Terminator options.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, if you bought this, and if you can find a copy later, since like I said, the web store is out right now, but you get this and the Iron Halo. That one, the Iron Halo was 740. This one is 775. So you are at just over 1,500 points. You are 1 or 2 vehicles or a unit or two, like a couple of units in intercessors or something. You are real close to a 2,000 point army, and this thing's going to hit like a freight train. And and even though this box is themed towards Ultramarines, this plays very nicely into like Deathwing. If you want to play Terminator heavy there, this would play, I would think, pretty nastily into Black Templars if you wanted to go with that.
Blood Angels.
Blood Angels, this would go well with that. Obviously, you've got the first company task force detachment for your Terminators if you're just doing generic Marines. So there's a number of options where this does play really well with that. Yeah, this it's a good purchase if you really like Terminators. If you were kind of waiting for the new Assault Terminators. It's a shame that it's already sold out on, or like I said, not currently available. But the fact that it's only this temporarily means they will probably have more copies of this available later. Yeah. And of course, all those Terminators will be available separately, given a few
eventually.
Months. Yeah.
No, I like this. They're good. Like,
yeah, they're good. When they redesigned the Terminators with Leviathan first coming out, and then they released them separately as standalone, they did a good job on the Terminators of upsizing them ever so slightly, but keeping the aesthetic identical. Like if you ran these side by side with existing Terminators, they'll look fine. Like, and your old Terminators, unless you're running the old little metal ones on 25 mil bases, which ancient, but if you're running like earlier versions of Terminators, they're not so much bigger that they look odd next to them, so they'll be fine.
Yeah.
So that one is a really solid release there, honestly. And price wise, like that's $250 for that one. If we look at Terminators right now,
the new Terminator Squad is $69. The old Terminator Assault Squad is $65.
So the new one's going to be 70, 69, 70. So assume, so that's $210 effectively of Terminators before you get into characters. The Captain is 47. The Chaplain is 47. Assume the Ancient's also going to be 47. So you're getting like $360. So, it's similar to the savings you get on the other Battle Forces. So it's a good purchase. Like I have no complaints about the pricing on it, other than, $250 is a big chunk to put out, but you're getting actually a lot for it. That's not the worst value I've ever seen.
Yeah. You're getting a lot of flexibility.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
We're gonna go ahead and take a break. Now that we've covered all the battle forces, there are more things that are coming out that have been announced or that are for pre-order, which we will get to. But we're gonna go ahead and take a break for sponsors. And remember, if you want to help support the show, there's three good ways to do that. First off is patreon.com/preferred enemies. We mentioned it earlier in the show when we were talking about the Pickaxe Network deal. That gets you access to our Discord. It will get you access to a ad-free version of the show, and it gets you access to any of the materials that we've added, such as our Urban Conquest 10th edition update, and we'll see if more things come along from that maybe. But anyway, if you want to help support the show, again, it's just $1 a month. It's an online tip jar. None of our content is locked behind it besides the ad-free version of the show, but it's the same show. What do you want, ads or not? But that adds up, and in addition to the support that we're going to be getting from Pickaxe, like this, it really does help out, and it's also just a great community to be a part of. Second, we do post videos on YouTube, video versions of the audio podcast. Be sure to like, subscribe, comment, interact with us there, help us fight through the algorithm and get more exposure there. And third, if you go to our merch store, preferredenemies.com/merch, we have shirts, stickers. In fact, somebody called me out, like I had mentioned stickers, and it's like, oh crap, did I actually put stickers on there? I had not. So I put stickers on there. We have stickers now. And they actually turned out really great. Somebody ordered them and put them on their army case, and they look fantastic. So so shirts, hats, mugs, stickers, magnets, all kinds of stuff. So if you want to help support the show, buy some merch, and again, that's money that we can put into not necessarily our wallets, but into creating more merch and hiring artists to help us design more stuff. So we'd really appreciate that. So like I said, gonna take a break for sponsors. When we come back, we've got more catching up to do. See you in a bit.